Your rich friends are broke. I need you to hear that. Not struggling a little, not between paychecks, broke. Empty wallet, snapped credit card, nothing behind the curtain broke. And the ugly truth is, you already suspected it. You just didn't want to be the person who said it out loud, because somehow, impossibly, you are the one who feels behind. Let me describe your Friday night, because I already know it. 5 people, mid-30s, everybody pulling between 70 and 95 grand a year. A restaurant where cocktails are $16, and the entrees are in the mid-30s. Not fancy, just expensive enough to feel like adults who figured it out. The conversation is leased cars, a trip someone booked on a rewards card, a jacket someone grabbed because the brand was doing a sale, check comes. $83 ahead after tax and tip. 4 cards hit the table instantly. No pause, no math, no hesitation. You hesitated. You drove there in a 2018 Honda CR-V. You bought used for $15,800 in cash 3 years ago. Your outfit is fine, clean, decent. You ordered what you actually wanted, not the most expensive thing, because you've been doing mental math since your late 20s, and now it is automatic, like blinking. And you sat there feeling like you missed a memo, like the life happening around that table is the correct version of being a grown up, and you made a wrong turn somewhere around 27. And you made a wrong turn somewhere around 27 and never corrected it. You didn't. You are the only person at that table building anything that lasts. The other 4 are performing wealth. You are accumulating it. And by the time all 5 of you turn 60, the gap between those 2 approaches will be conservatively $2 million. But here is what actually hurts. Last month, you typed, I think, I'll sit this one out into the group chat. 3 seconds of silence, then someone replied, you good things, okay, financially. And you sat there staring at your phone knowing you have more saved than anyone in that thread. But the silence, that 3-second pause, that read you as the one falling behind. That is the part that stays in your chest. 92% of Americans under 40 have a net worth below $100,000. Not because they don't earn enough, because the gap between what they earn and what they spend is effectively zero. And the portion of that group pulling over 70 grand a year. Frankly, embarrassing to look at in the data. I'm tired of nobody leading with this, so I will. The 3 signs you are financially ahead of the people around you look nothing like winning. They look like restraint, social awkwardness, quiet discomfort. One of them is something you've probably been embarrassed about for years. Something your friends read as struggling. Something that is actually the single most reliable behavioral predictor of long-term wealth accumulation that exists in the research. And I'm going to walk you through all 3, not from some textbook, from Federal Reserve data, behavioral economics research, and a decade spent around accountants and fiscal lawyers who see the numbers behind the lifestyle. People who can sit across from someone at dinner and tell you within 10 minutes whether that person is building something real or producing an elaborate, expensive performance of it. I've had multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market long enough to know the difference between theory and what actually shows up in account balances at year 20. These signs are not about picking stocks. They're not about some esoteric tax hack. They are about the relationship between money and psychology. And most people get that relationship catastrophically wrong. Not because they're stupid, because nobody ever explains the mechanism. So hold one image in your mind for the rest of this video. An iceberg, 10% above the waterline, 90% below. The visible part is the car, the wardrobe, the vacation posts, the restaurant habits, the watch. The invisible part is the net worth, the investment accounts, the paid off assets, the interest compounding in an account. You set up 2 years ago and barely check your 4 friends at that table. They're spending everything on the 10%. Their 90% is shallow or empty or negative. Yours is growing below the waterline, where compounding actually happens. And the dinner table will never ever show you that. Here is the lie you were fed, and I'm tired. I'm genuinely tired of watching smart people swallow it whole like it is water. Spend what you earn, you deserve it. You worked hard. That sentence has destroyed more retirements than any stock crash in American history. Not even close. The 2008 collapse wiped out trillions. That single cultural belief wiped out more. because the crash was 1 year. That belief runs every single day for 40 years straight. And nobody calls it what it is: a spending instruction disguised as self-care. Who loves that phrase? Credit card companies, auto lenders, the entire leasing industry, every brand that ever ran an ad saying treat yourself next to a financing option. They need you to believe that the gap between what you earn and what you spend should be zero. That closing the gap is the reward for working. That keeping the gap open, saving, is punishment, deprivation, some sad little life where you eat rice and stare at a wall. That framing is not an accident, it was engineered. It is the single most profitable consumer belief ever manufactured. And your 4 friends at that Friday dinner, they didn't just accept it, they built their entire identity around it. Let me be specific about what normal looks like in this country, because normal is the problem. Normal is contributing 3% to your 401k, because that is what HR defaulted you into during onboarding. And you never touched it again. Normal is leasing a car because the monthly payment works. Normal is upgrading your apartment every time your salary bumps because you finally can. Normal is having 4 streaming subscriptions, a gym membership you use twice a month, a financed phone, and a vague sense that you'll figure out retirement later. Normal is arriving at 54 with $168,000 to your name after 30 years of earning. That is the median. That is the most common outcome of the most common behavior. And somehow, the person who rejects that pattern is the weird one at the table. You said, I think I'll sit this one out in the group chat. 3 seconds of silence. Then someone typed, you good things, okay, financially. And you stared at your phone, knowing you have more saved than every person in that thread combined. But the silence, that pause, that read you as the one falling behind, that is not your friends being cruel. That is your friends running the only scoreboard they were ever given. Visible spending, the car, the restaurant, the trip, the outfit. They don't have another metric. Nobody handed them one. So when you opt out of a visible purchase, the only explanation their framework allows is that you can't afford it. They literally cannot process the idea that you chose not to. And here is the part that should make you furious. The system that taught them that scoreboard, it profits when they use it. Every dollar they spend performing wealth is a dollar some company collected. Every signal purchase, the lease, the brand, the upgraded apartment in the right zip code has a recipient on the other end who is thrilled that your friends confuse spending with status. Nobody is selling restraint. There is no Super Bowl ad for keeping your checking account lean. No influencer partnership for driving a paid-off Honda. No affiliate link for the decision to not upgrade your life every time your salary ticks up by $4,000. The entire commercial infrastructure of American life is pointing in one direction. Close the gap, spend the margin, convert income to visible consumption as fast as possible. And the people who listen, the 92% under 40 with less than 100,000 in net worth, are not failing. They are doing exactly what the system was built to produce. They are functioning perfectly as consumers. They are just failing completely as accumulators. Your friends at that table aren't bad people, they're obedient ones. They followed every signal, they leased the right car. They moved to the right neighborhood. They ordered without checking the price. They performed exactly the version of success that was marketed to them since they were 19 years old, and their net worth shows it. Yours doesn't match the performance. That is why they're confused. That is why the group chat went quiet for 3 seconds. That is why you're the one who feels behind, even though you are mathematically, structurally, provably ahead by every metric that actually counts when the music stops. The scoreboard they're reading is the wrong scoreboard, and the discomfort you feel sitting at that table. The quiet knot in your stomach when everyone pulls out their cards without flinching. That is not shame. That is the cost of seeing clearly in a room full of people who can't, and seeing clearly costs you something every single week because the data behind what you're watching at that table is worse than you think, way worse. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the most comprehensive household wealth data set collected in the United States, updated every 3 years. Here's what it says about your 4 friends. The median net worth of Americans aged 35 to 44 is $91,300. That is the middle, that is not the bottom. That is the most common outcome after a full decade of professional income. 91,000 after 10 plus years of earning. Now here is the number that should make your jaw hit the floor. 30% of American households pulling over $100,000 a year have less than 10 grand in liquid savings. 6 figures of income, less than 10,000 saved. Not because of medical catastrophe, not because of some freak event, because every single dollar of margin got eaten, absorbed, converted into a leased sedan and a zip code, and a restaurant habit that runs $400 a month, and a wardrobe rotation nobody asked for. That is the machine working exactly as designed. Your friend who just financed a new phone over 24 months at 0% interest. That is not a deal. That is an extraction strategy wearing a costume. The 0% exists because it removes the one moment of friction, the moment you'd feel the price, and replaces it with invisible monthly bleed. 24 months of not feeling it, which is 24 months of not questioning it, which is 24 months where that money never touches a compounding account. Multiply that decision across a car, an apartment upgrade, a subscription stack, a wardrobe refresh after every promotion. Do that for 15 years, you get Marcus. Marcus earns $112,000 a year. His net worth is $37,000 after 12 years. 12 years of 6-figure income, and he could barely buy a used truck with what he has built. His 401k has 22,000 in it. He has carried 11 grand in credit card debt for 3 years. He dresses well, he eats well, his LinkedIn is immaculate. He just compared BMW lease residual values for 45 minutes, and then told someone he is not really into money stuff. Marcus is not an outlier. Marcus is the median outcome with better lighting. And here is the mechanic nobody talks about, because it doesn't sell courses or apps or premium newsletters. Lifestyle inflation is not a spending problem. It is an identity problem. Every raise Marcus ever got came with a story attached. I earned this, I'm at this level now. People at my salary drive this, wear this, live here. The spending wasn't impulsive, it was logical. Within the framework he was given, every upgrade made perfect sense. The framework just happens to be a wealth destruction engine, running on social proof and quiet desperation. The raise hits, the lifestyle adjusts, the gap closes, nothing compounds. Next year, repeat year after year after year, until you're 54 staring at $168,000, wondering where 30 years of paychecks actually went. They went above the waterline, every single one, exposed, visible, spent performing a life that looked correct to everyone at the table. Meanwhile, your 2018 Honda is sitting in that parking lot, with 214,000 miles on it, paid off, quiet, unremarkable, funding a Roth IRA that nobody at dinner will ever ask about. Because nobody at dinner has a framework for asking, you texted, I think, I'll sit this one out. 3 seconds of silence, then somebody typed, you good things, okay, financially. You're sitting on more than everyone in that group chat combined. And the algorithm they're running, visible spending equals success. Literally cannot process your situation. You broke their scoreboard, so they did the only thing the scoreboard allows, they assumed you lost. You didn't lose. You stopped playing a game that charges 6 figures to participate in and pays out absolutely nothing at the end. That is not restraint. That is the single highest returning financial decision available at your income level, and the compound math on it over 25 years is so aggressive. It looks fake until you run it yourself, which you should this week, not next month, because the gap between you and Marcus isn't closing. It is accelerating every single month, and that acceleration is the part that should terrify Marcus, not motivate him, terrify him, because the math doesn't care about his BMW. The math doesn't care about his LinkedIn. The math is running whether he watches it or not. And right now it is running against him at a speed he genuinely cannot feel. Because the whole point of lifestyle inflation is that it is painless going in and catastrophic going out. You want to know what Marcus will feel? I'll tell you exactly. 53 years old, sitting in an HR office. Some 28-year-old manager explaining a restructuring. And Marcus, for the first time in his adult life, will do the math he has been avoiding since he was 31. He'll pull up his accounts, he'll see a number. And that number will not support the life he built. Not for a year, not for 6 months, barely for 10 weeks. And in that moment, every restaurant, every lease, every jacket, every trip charged to a card he told himself he'd pay off next month. Every single one of those purchases will become what they always were. A withdrawal from a retirement account that never existed. That is not a metaphor, that is the literal mechanical outcome of spending your compounding base on visible consumption for 20 years. You didn't spend money, you spent time. And time is the only input compounding needs. And you gave it away at dinner on a Friday for $83 plus tip every single week. Meanwhile, you sitting there in that group chat, you're reading this right now with that knot in your stomach. That has been there since your late 20s. You texted, I think I'll sit this one out. 3 seconds of silence. Then somebody asked if you were okay financially, and you locked your phone, set it face down on the counter. Stood there for a minute because what were you supposed to say? I have more saved than all of you combined, but I'm choosing not to spend $60 on appetizers tonight. That sentence doesn't exist in the social vocabulary you were raised in. There is no version of that sentence that doesn't make you the weird one, the cheap one, the one who didn't make it. So you said nothing. You stayed home. You moved another $400 into your brokerage account, and you felt like you lost something. You didn't lose anything. You gained $400 of compounding runway that those 4 people at dinner will never have, but it felt like loss because the scoreboard said it was loss. Because the only scoreboard anyone handed you measures the 10% above the waterline and is structurally blind to the 90% below it. I'm exhausted. I'm genuinely exhausted watching people confuse the scoreboard with the game. The game is not who looks richest at 37. The game is who gets to stop playing at 52. The game is who walks away from a job because they want to, not because they were allowed to. The game is who sits down at 60 and does not feel the floor dropping out from under them. Your friends can't see your score. That is not a bug. That is the entire architecture of how wealth actually works. It is a 2018 Honda in a parking lot. It is a checking account that looks lean on Wednesday. It is a group chat where you're the one who sat it out. And here is what nobody at that table will ever admit out loud. Not once, not ever, because admitting it would collapse the whole performance overnight. Every single one of them has opened their banking app at 2 in the morning. Stared at it, closed it, opened it again, done the math. Felt the floor tilt, and gone back to sleep pretending they didn't. You did the same math. Yours held. That is the difference. That is the whole difference. That is the only difference that will matter when the music stops. And everybody has to sit down and show what they actually built. After 25 years of earning, some people at that Friday dinner already know their number won't hold. They've known for years, they just keep showing up. Keep ordering, keep pulling out the card without flinching. Because the performance is easier than the math. The Honda doesn't perform, the Honda compounds. And compounding doesn't care who looked impressive at dinner.